Hey everyone, I hope you are enjoying this Cisco Live digital event. And thank you for tuning in to the IT Leadership Channel. My name is Alex Belger, and I'm a visual communication specialist within Cisco IT. And typically, I lead the IT roaming reporters at Cisco Live. Now, the IT roaming reporters are a group of IT professionals like myself at Cisco who are interested in video production and learn how to film and edit daily highlight videos of the IT management program. This year is our 10th year anniversary of the ITM program. And we have combined with the Executive Symposium to create this channel, the IT Leadership Channel. Now, in these roaming reporter videos, we typically interview you, the attendees of Cisco Live. However, since this is a digital event this year, we are going to interview attendees and customers of Cisco in their own home. I'm pleased to be joined today by 6 Cisco Live digital attendees / IT Leadership Channel viewers who are here to share their recent digital experiences and thoughts on today's topics. With that, let's go to our first question. Thank you all for being here. What change have you or your team made during this pandemic that you will keep when life returns back to normal?
Early on in the pandemic, we scrounged pretty much any laptop that we had to be able to transition 95+% of our office staff to be able to work from home. We were able to accomplish that with what we had. But the 50-50 mix that we traditionally had in terms of desktops to laptops will absolutely transition to more and more laptops. There'll be a cost associated with that, but everybody has different work conditions at home and they really need a laptop to be able to accomplish that. Some people have to be at a kitchen table. Some people don't have permanent work from home offices. So I think that'll be something that we transition to is more and more laptops.
I've started daily check-ins with my employees, not to find out project status or anything about work, but just to check in on their mental health. I think it's important that we connect as humans virtually, even if we can't physically.
My company's recently started a vlog focusing on accelerating business value through technology, and co-creating that content with our partners has been positive, and we intend to continue doing that past the pandemic.
So one change that I made during the pandemic was a daily check-in with my team, and we spend the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes each day just either talking about what's going on with the virus or talking about what's going on with work, talking about kids, just a check-in. And it's been amazing, and I feel like this team has grown stronger, and I'd love to keep that moving forward.
Virtual happy hours with my team by far is my favorite change, in addition to the work from home routine. That's a keeper.
So what are you all looking forward to at Cisco Live Digital?
We're looking for the wide array of content, whether that's leadership, technical deep dives. I think it's a wide breadth of content that we can view, and also to see what Cisco has in terms of future products and future-looking technologies.
Well, this year, the best part about Cisco Live Digital is that I can invite everybody on the team and some people who haven't ever been before. So I'm looking forward to watching the event with them and for them to experience Cisco Live.
I'm really excited to listen to the technical content. I think that I always enjoy the content that I see and learn at Cisco Live.
Hearing Jackie and hearing how the last year has been. You know, she was new last year, just coming in, and it was great to see her on stage and to talk with Chuck and just hear some of the ideas and things that she was hoping to, bring to the team and bring to the company. And I'm really looking forward to seeing her update.
One of my objectives in every Cisco Live that I've attended is to kind of read between the line and understand the innovation that Cisco will be focusing on in the coming years. That have helped me staying ahead of the curve and plan for the future. This year is the same. I'll be looking to understand what Cisco will be focusing in coming, especially any changes that Cisco will make to their strategy as a result of the pandemic.
What about your IT strategies? Has it shifted during this time? If so, how?
Well, our strategy has fundamentally changed. About half of our workforce traditionally worked in an office or in a factory, and the other half worked wherever they needed to. We've had to bring home virtually everyone who wasn't directly involved in manufacturing. So we've had to go digital in a really quick way, more so than we thought we would. So it's really exciting that we were able to advance some of our projects as fast as we could.
Yes, absolutely. One of the major initiatives in 2020 is to modernize systems. And we have 6 very large projects going on right now that is working towards just that. And the team is focused on that. Even while we had some of our retail showrooms shut down, we were still working on that and moving everything forward. So once we were able to open back up again, those projects were ready to go and we didn't miss a beat.
Yes, we have become more mobile, and it has forced us to think outside of the box to improve on our efficiency and effectiveness towards serving our community.
So later today, Colin Ellis is going to touch on company culture. What does culture mean to you? In this new virtual world, are you able to maintain your current company culture, or were you forced to create a new one?
I think culture starts with a mission statement of where the company's going. Then you have core values and behavior that drive the culture. As leaders in an organization, it's our job to lead behaviors which reinforces culture we have defined. We have a philosophy of leading behaviors rather than managing results. If your behaviors are reinforcing your culture, the results will be there.
Culture is an interesting animal, right? Because culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you can't just replace a culture because you've decided to work from home. The center of the culture is going to stay the same no matter what the company does. But how you implement it and how you work with each other and how you drive your culture can change when going from a more physical office to a more virtual one.
I had an interesting conversation regarding culture with an executive at an organization, and we were specifically talking about remote work, and this organization doesn't support remote work, and he said the reason was that their corporate culture was one of their most important assets, and they said their corporate culture couldn't be conveyed, instilled in people if they allowed remote work. Since the pandemic, I talked to this executive and I said, how's remote work working for your organization? And he said, oh, it's great. You know, we had some initial blips, but things are going really well. And I said, well, after this is over, will you continue that? And he said, no, our culture would never survive it. And I think that's a larger problem. If your corporate culture can't survive remote work, you probably have a pretty weak culture. So I'd like to think that our Synoptus's corporate culture is such that remote work, this pandemic hasn't been really anything more than a blip in our radar.
Now, this one will particularly interest our Chief People Officer, Fran. How important is it to reskill the workforce? What's an example of how employees can learn new skills?
We have actively been deploying Microsoft Office 365. And as part of that is a tool called OneDrive, which lets you store files in the cloud and lets you share and sync them. We've had to teach a lot of employees how to use this technology. But once they figure it out, it makes it really easy to collaborate on different kinds of documents. It cuts down on email traffic, it cuts down on a lot of things, and it makes it much easier to work. And I think that's something that'll continue even after we return to the office.
Reskilling the workforce, that's an interesting question. And I think that comes to a larger idea of, are you going to invest in your employees? If you say, and people are our most important assets. You put money and time into your most important assets. If you do not, it's purely lip service. So how important is it to reskill your employees? That depends on how committed you are to your employees. If you're an organization that's committed to your employees, you absolutely must reskill them.
So this is a conversation that I've been having with my team, especially now that we're reduced staff and we need to kind of stretch ourselves to work on areas that maybe we haven't spent time in before. So for example, I have system administrators working on networking gear, like, firewalls, ASAs, routers, switches. So one of the things that I recommended was going out to Cisco DevNet and take advantage of the free, learnings and classes and labs that are there, and just getting in and being able to dig deeper into some of these technologies. And that's one place. Another one is, LinkedIn Learning, and there's just tons of courses out there. And just now is the time to learn some new skills and to help out in any way we can.
Cloud automations and analytics, in my opinion, are the top 3 disruptive forces that's causing a major reskill streams in the IT world, especially in these times when the dependency on technologies and the internet is at its highest.
Have you or your company found new ways of utilizing data and analytics during this pandemic?
We've used data and analytics in quite a few ways. We first used it to determine who needed to go home and when, and we're doing the reverse now that we're looking at how we return to the office. We've also used it heavily in determining how do we enable 60,000 people to work from home. We had less than half that capacity before the lockdowns went into place. So we rapidly had to get an understanding for how many current connections did we need to stand up, what was the bandwidth utilization for each one of those people, when did they work, what times of day in each region, et cetera. And that allowed us to right size our AnyConnect environment so that we can support remote work for everybody that could.
Okay, now this one is a fun one, and please keep it PG. After all, we are streaming live online. Share your favorite Cisco Live or IT management program moment.
I have 2 favorite Cisco Live IT management moments. Number 1, a few years ago, I was lucky enough to present in front of almost 1,000 people. There's a really neat presentation about the Tour de France and how we digitized the event. So that was really neat. I also got to meet R2-D2, and that's something I never thought I'd say to anybody, but I was really, really excited to meet R2-D2 because I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
So I love Cisco Live. I love ITM, and trying to identify a single moment that represents the best of technical and leadership conferences is amazingly difficult. I've met so many amazing people and friends at Cisco Live that it was heartbreaking when I found out I wasn't going to get together with my friends this year. That being said, one of my fondest memories and one of my saddest memories was when Lance Perry announced his retirement. And it was fond for me because Lance was kind enough to mention me by name during his retirement speech, and I was humbled by that. And
The customer appreciation event last year with Foo Fighters and Weezer, that was amazing. I mean, I love the conference. I love hearing all the updates from all the leaders, but 2 of my favorite bands, yes, that was hands down my favorite.
First day, the energy that you get or you get hit with when you enter the conference, that energy stays with you till the end of the conference and sometimes also till after the conference.
Cisco Live ITM, possibilities for generations to come.
And that'll do it here for us. Thank you all for participating and sharing your thoughts. And thank you, the viewers at home, for tuning in to the IT Leadership Channel. Have a great rest of your event.